Well, I'm going to jump in. First off, thanks for people. Sorry for the brief hiccup. OBS had just a full-on crash. I've actually never seen it. I thought my whole computer was frozen, but it just shut down, and here we are. So, fastest crash recovery ever, yes. First off, I want to give shouts out to Rune, because when it came in, I have to admit, I'm not like the transiest person, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I actually ended up really liking this. It's got like a floaty, complex, kind of just really nice feeling. So good job. Matt, what did you think?
Yeah, I was sort of concentrating on wishing you well to get the stream going again. But yeah, it's a bit different to the others. It's a bit more laid back. But again, it's full of fizz and ideas. I liked it when the squelchy sound came in. Yeah, it's solid, but perhaps not my favourite so far, but definitely it's decent. It's all right.
Yeah, I think the mix quality is good. Natty, what did you think?
I think you showed a very controlled use of your stereo field, and that's something that's probably one of the better examples tonight that we've seen, which is good. The other thing I think would be that it's a very much a sort of a backgroundy track, which if that's what you're... Are we coming through okay? I don't know anymore. If that was your intention to sort of just help us relax and mellow out a bit, that was really nice. I mean, but if you were to want it to be more distinct, you'd want a more dominant top melody on this one. Like, I mean, I feel like you could have, if you wanted to go the sort of more EDM-y, catchy direction, you could have had a sort of a gliding lead sound in places that sort of stuck some of those upper harmonics that you kind of don't touch. I mean, it does sound fairly full in its own right, but I wouldn't be able to necessarily play this track back, sing it back to you, because there's no overarching motif. So
it's a groove, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's a question of what is your intention here. And that's not something we can really answer for you. We can only just say, okay, if this is to sort of a lounge track, then yeah, it works and it's great, fine. But if you do want it to be something more, then maybe start humming over the top of it and seeing how you can flesh it out in that respect. So that then it becomes something that you can have people sing along to, in that sense, in their heads, where they can say, yeah, I know that I love this bit. I like when it goes, or whatever.
Well, that's called a hook, isn't it?
Amazing.
So.
All right, sweet. I'm trying some different monitoring things to see if I don't get muted, but this is giving me so much latency. I'm having anxiety, so I don't think I'm going to do it this way. Let me just bring it back. Okay, that is a lot better. Yeah, the reason that I keep getting muted and not knowing about it is because I can still hear myself the whole time, so I thought maybe I'll go through OBS, but that gives me a 2-second latency. There's no way. Anyways, we're going to move forward with Electroman, looking for general thoughts. It says, I'm aware of the 1/8 kicks. I do plan on changing that. I guess we will figure out what they mean. A track called Energy. bit like sort of 8-bit happy in between video game level vibe. I feel like I'm about to like get another mushroom for.
I was going to say exactly the same. Actually, it's quite jolly, isn't it? With it has got a video game vibe. I think actually it'd be pretty good in a video game, but it's not really my cup of tea. Other than that, I sort of wanted to like it, but it's a little bit twee for me somehow.
Twee, that's a good one. I need that one. I feel the same way. I think just the melodies are very happy, and I think when you combine happy melodies with very bright video gamey sounds, then you run that line, right? Like maybe if you had more minor or complex chords, you could sort of do the 8-bit thing, or if you had happy stuff but a little more complicated, serious sounds. I think it's a balance of sound palette and melody together. Natty, you play a lot of video games. How do you feel about this?
I mean, I agree. It needs more of a distinct sections between each area. Right now it's kind of just one sort of mass of happy, and it doesn't really give us a chance to appreciate anything else. You were criticizing your own use of the drums, the kick pattern, and in the intro I think that kick pattern works, but you definitely need to change it up as the song progresses, because that controls our energy levels for the track. And it also, the sheer repetitiveness of it makes it feel like it's more of a series of loops stuck together and then just played over and over and over again. The more variation you introduce, the more likely it's going to elevate itself from being just this sort of slightly cringy happy into something more.
Just looking at the chat, this is from Electroman, this track, right?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
he's saying that, seriously, I am in school to be a video game developer. Should I be worried? So,
No.
I then, I think perhaps you should have, we should have picked up that perhaps its intended market, if you like. Sometimes it's good not to try and be everything at once, right? If we all thought that sounded like a video game track, maybe it is a video game track, and for that as its purpose, it's cool. It doesn't need to be all things to all people.
No, definitely not.
You can't please everybody. That's impossible.
You certainly can't please everyone, but yeah, I mean, good if you're gonna do video games, perfect. Score your own games, easy. You don't even need a composer. Amazing though. Thanks. Shouts out to everybody who's sending their tracks in. We love hearing them. Shouts out to Matt for being our special guest. Next track is from Surreal Dimensions called "Disproportionate Response to Reality." Looking for tips on how to get a better mix and master, what I could have done differently, etc. All right. Let's see. All right, I'm going to start talking here because this right here. This is the best part of your song. I think that should happen way sooner and be more in the foreground. This little glitches, this little panning, all these little like fun, detailed atmosphere. And outside of this, there's a lot of mud going on in your mix. So I think first of all, you need to go and EQ absolutely everything. EQ everything. You know, go through and notch out the bass. That will give some room, especially when you cut the low end out, for things to breathe. Because right now I'm just not hearing a lot of the punch or a lot of the groove or anything that you want. So, Matt, what do you think?
I like the ideas, the musical ideas in it, and I like the sort of sinister feel to it. I mean, actually, as a music maker myself, getting a good sound isn't my speciality, so I generally work with engineers to do that. So I'm learning quite a lot from hearing you guys speak as well. But yeah, it sounds like when I make a track and there's too many things going on and I don't really know how to position the different elements in the spectrum to give enough space to each one. I think, yeah, that the musical ideas are better than the mix and the production at the moment, I'd say.
That's a fair assessment. For me, I think that it could have done a little bit more signposting. Like when you introduced the bass sound, for example, the first time, I felt like it came out of nowhere. And you might have actually benefited from, say, using that bass melody with your creepy bell sounds first, and then hit us with the bass. Then it's sort of just like you're blending your two intentions with the track to have this eerie yet sort of funky thing going on. And I also felt some of your sweepy sounds right now, they're a little bit distracting when it comes to actually holding the groove together. It's like you've tried to syncopate too many different elements together, and that makes us lose that groove, which isn't really a mixing issue so much as it is a composition issue. And maybe it's a case of, again, breaking up your song just a little bit more so that you can give each distinct pattern its own little section to actually have and not be conflicting.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, though. I mean, I think the best thing about this track is just the originality of the composition. Like, it definitely has its own flavor, and it sounds like something I would want to listen to closer. So I think just a really good mixdown will have it go. We'll have it going. Speaking...
The name is also great.
The name? Oh, the disproportionate response to reality. Yes, it is. Speaking of mixdowns, we have Schlop up next. Always excited to hear Schlop's stuff. It really reminds me always of being in Denver. Schlop is from Denver and definitely has that big Denver sound. He says, have a show next week. This is an older whip that I never finished, but it has given me problems because of the format of the intro. I need to work on that and come up with another drop, a new first or second after that big first. Looking for any and all opinions. Okay, Schlop, we love you. I was like, whoa, wait, what was I hearing? Come again? Yeah, Matt, go first on that one.
It's the first tune in the sort of dubstep style this evening. It squelches in all the right places. I like the little bits of spoken word and the spooky